Hello everybody, welcome to the Life Energy Update here from Transcoats in Colorado, USA. My name is Yona Brindis, and we're going to be looking at August 4th till August 10th. This should be a very interesting time, so we have a lot to talk about. And before we look into next week, let's reflect a little bit on this week here. All right, so there's a lot going on. So first of all, is there anybody there? I need some feedback here, just to know that there's that I'm not speaking in the air. I'm used to speaking in front of audiences, so but I'm not used to seeing the audience. Hi there. All right, so this past week has been for those of you who are on a serious journey of understanding yourself, and some call this embodying enlightenment. I don't want to go that far, but for those of you who are really seeking deeper truths within yourself and within dealing with the world, this last week was quite interesting. We all had an extremely strong influx coming in from the outside. What does this mean? Our 6th and 7th chakras were wide open. There were a lot of really interesting insights coming forward. You may have had a very intense dreaming, really cool visuals. And some of you perhaps also the flip side of the coin, the feeling of not fully being in your body, of just all sort of being spirit, being information, like really touch basing with your energetic being, and not feeling all there. Perhaps even you may have had involuntary OBEs, out-of-body experiences, or things that do not feel all that comfortable, especially if you are relatively new to your energetic sensitivity. So I want to reflect a little bit on that, what this can do to a person when we don't know yet how to deal with our sensitivity, and having all these new sensations that are now beginning to really come forward, also physically. Like a lot of people felt this vertigo, they felt really dizzy. I had situations where I felt the body, the ground shaking underneath my feet. I literally had to hold on to things. Now this has to do with the training that I have, and I can also sort of infer out of these sensations what they mean. This is something that I have been suggesting to many of you, to learn what these inner sensations, what they really mean. All right, since I'm also, per definition, tuning into collective energies all the time, and trying to decode them for you guys, for people that work with me in active energy work. We work with collective energies, let them go through us, and develop the medicine, so to speak, develop the frequency that is missing or needed in that time. And this is how these energy updates really how they come to me. So they're more or less a side product. My main work is to actually work with people who want to transform, who want to change things in their lives. And this could be anything from your financial situation to your home, your relationship, your job, or some aspects of parenting, for instance. I'm going to talk about those things a little bit. I want to, in this energy update, I really want to contextualize some of these energetic observations and predictions, if you will, what they mean for us in all these different roles that we have in our lives. But first of all, I want to mention that this 6th and 7th chakra. So 6th chakra is your third eye, crown chakra. 7th chakra is here the the energy field that is right above your crown, and that is sort of the gateway to energies from the outside, from the spiritual, if you will. And I've talked about this in the past. There's a lot of misunderstanding and misdirection about this. So these parts of us are always there, whether we can sense them or not. But there are times when these open up for us. There can also be times where they can be severely clogged. And this is actually something that we are... that we need to expect now for the coming week, all right? And this is serious, which is why I'll create a little bit of an arc here and explain what the impact can be, and what we need to watch out for, and why this can be really stressful the next week. But let's look again at the past week. There were some really beautiful things that came forward. It was a time maybe for many of you to have almost like a new level of connection. A new level of connection within yourself, but also with others. So these increased openness allowed us to feel things on a different level, and many people that I worked with had really beautiful insights, really beautiful new experiences in regards to connecting with others. Now, if you are new to things like being a highly sensitive person or energetically sensitive, then I do want to warn you here that this will bring a whole new way of seeing yourselves and a whole new way of seeing your relationships. When you begin to understand your energetic sensitivity, you will also begin to understand relationships differently, and it will come to you that the interaction that occurs between people that is not just limited to the visible or to the audible, that there's a lot, in fact more than 80% of the interaction between people is going on in the subtle, in the unseen. And so learning your own energetic signals and learning how you process subtle energies will suddenly open up a whole new world in regards to other people. So those of you who had a really cool experience last week, this is going to be something that you need to get used to. You're going to connect with people in a different way, and this is something that is really beautiful. Sort of the reward here, the grail, the thing that that they have been promising us, but not because we are good and we work really hard on our spiritual ascension, but because we are beginning to really become true to ourselves, to become real, to become true selves, as I often call it. And so in this connection lies a beautiful new potential for literally changing our world around, for living a different life. Now, does this mean that everything is that you're living now, that you have been living now, was not true or was not right? No, absolutely not. It is a next step in the evolution. It is the next step in moving into an understanding that liberates you from a lot of those collectively programmed ties, collectively programmed values. The very thing that leads to us often not being able to tell who we are, what we need, what love is. Don't beat yourself up over not fully knowing these things, perhaps even if you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s. This has no age restriction. This is an evolution that is happening collectively right now, which means that we are all kind of new to this. We are all like in kindergarten, and there's a few of us here who have been our forerunners, okay, our pioneers, and those of us, I count myself to them. They had a tough life because we did not fit in, and we still don't. But the number of people who is beginning to understand this language is growing by the day. All right. So when I talk about the lexicon of inner sensations, when I talk about discovering ourselves from within, I'm not talking about some fancy woo-woo stuff. I'm talking about you and your relationships and your loved ones and your life. All right. There is a little bit of learning involved, and this is perhaps the part that sometimes brings people into this place of like, I have to try harder, or I have to be better. But I really want to take this away with these energy reports where I'm sharing so much energy. Yeah, I'm sharing energy too. But where I'm saying, sharing so much insights, so many insights that can help you really to contextualize some of these things without having to go into all these negative and really dark places that a lot of people have had to go through in the past, of not belonging, of being kicked out of the tribe, as I called it last time, which is, by the way, not my own formulation, but a good friend who says that to describe the feeling of not fitting in. Or trying so hard to fit in that we lose our own identity. So what all this is leading to now is really a liberation of our true self, okay? So no matter what your religious or your spiritual background is, it doesn't matter how you understand true self, because to you there is only one truth, and that is what is most beneficial for you, what is helping you to unfold your highest potential. Now, when I say what is most beneficial or advantageous for you, of course I'm not talking about egocentrism or self-gain. I'm talking about the things that are most conducive for your energy, the things that are best for you in your life to unfold. And we've talked about this in the past. There's many different factors that play a role in this, such as karma and some of the setup that we have in life. And I don't want you to get hung up on this too much, especially with past lives, even though I talk quite frequently about them. That is only because we can see the impact of some of these karmic aspects in people's energy fields. But then it's a matter of surrendering all of that again, and understanding that it's about claiming that sovereignty, that you can determine your life. And this is what we are gaining here with learning how to deal with our energetic sensitivity. All right, someone just commented that the video froze. Can you guys see me now again? Is the video okay, or do I need to do anything? Let me just check real quick. All right, I did not see this. I did not notice that. So I hope I'm not speaking in front of a ghost audience. But either way, it doesn't matter. Those energy updates, I do them for the people that work for me. It's a free service, and I don't monetize them. As you know, I don't do any advertisement. I do make advertisement for myself, of course, for the services that I offer, for the things that are designed to help people. All right. You may want to see this as gosh, I get so many negative comments on advertising for my own services. It's really funny. But I don't monetize. I don't even monetize the hundreds of articles that I write about energetic sensitivity, about learning all these new languages. So please don't go into resistance with this, all right? I'm going to tell you what the energetic weather conditions are, and I'm going to tell you what I believe is something that can really help you, and it so happens to be what I offer, what I do, what I'm dedicated my entire life to. All right? So this is sort of the true essence of who I am. And this is why I'm sitting out here in my tent, in my office, if you will, and I'm not trying to pretend to be anybody else that I'm not. I do energy coaching for corporations, for people that are not used to this kind of true interaction. And I love it when the hummingbirds come. So the sound that you hear is the hummingbird in the background. So this is just the way this is, and there is a confidence and an ability to make my own stance, to claim my own space in this statement. All right, and you can probably all feel this. This is what creates or is part of a big of the resonance that I have. It doesn't really have anything to do with my energetic abilities and the fact that I can see energies in people and so forth, but these are things that I have trained for decades. All right, so it doesn't really matter. I have told many people and proven it to many people that everybody has these abilities and that we can all tune into this. We just have to get past all this stuff, like these walls, these protective and defensive walls around us. And a lot of that can be led back to these initial wounds and the pain of not belonging. So here I am, sort of putting myself out there. Also to set an example for you that when someone really steps into their power, then there is a lot of new energy that comes in, and it will change your life. And I'm not just saying this, it will change your life. There were many different phases in my life where I thought I had to be this, I had to be that, I had to be that, and I was good at it. But it wasn't true to me. I wasn't happy. And I didn't have happy relationships, and I didn't have a happy feeling when I woke up. And I didn't have a sense of being. The sense of belonging, guys, is because you feel this emptiness inside. You feel this yearning inside that you wanted to step into something that you can't even define. And that's why you're looking for things to belong to on the outside. But once you can liberate yourself from this, you don't need to belong anymore. You are. You become that what you long for, and so there is none of this false self, pretense, projection. All that is not needed anymore. Now, do we all still have our different talents? Do we all have? Absolutely. And not everybody can do energy coaching or sit in front of a camera or write things or paint things or make music. Absolutely not. But if this is part of your skill set, if this is what your true talents are, the things that really sort of tap into your passion and your passion for life, that make your life force flow, that make you feel inspired, that make you feel happy, then this is who you truly are. Regardless of what kind of job, what kind of role you have to play here in your 3D life. And so this journey here is not some theoretical, metaphysical, or spiritual, or esoteric, or alchemical, some interesting thing. This is the real deal, guys. All right. So the fact that we all have to use terminology that is, I don't know, that comes from ancient texts, that comes from religious texts, or is because we don't really have our own lingo yet. But I'm working on this. All right. So I'm really trying to neutralize some of the things that are out there by reducing it to the energetic aspect, and not so much bringing in my personal spiritual belief system. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a personal belief system and a spiritual, that is, but we've got to be careful here, because this is, especially for those of you who are younger, this is a new fad almost, and there is, of course, a lot of misdirection there, and then I think some of you come here because they like that I have my critical view on certain common sort of spiritual memes, and that I don't, I don't have a problem with speaking this out loud. And I will tell you why. Because people who are misguided and misdirected spiritually can get very deeply wounded to the core. It can take them years or decades to heal from that. Worse sometimes than from physical abuse or any other kind of abuse. And they end up with us. They come to us and seek help and need someone who helps them to clear energies or to teach them how they can take care of their own basic energetic needs. All right, so for me, this is a serious subject. And so the themes that are coming up for this week, as light as I may make that sound, they're quite serious actually. So many of you, of course, have heard about the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse. So this week is the lunar eclipse, all right, on the 7th. And this is a powerful one, and I'm not an astrologer to give you that kind of interpretation, but you can read this up. There's some good sites and some good people out there who really break this down, what these celestial or planetary constellations, what they mean for us. But, as an energy worker, I see the effects on people, and quite often, actually, more often than not, it coincides with a lot of the astrological stuff. So I do see bridges here. But anyway, it has been known for all humans in all times, that these big celestial events usually also have an effect on people. And we all know that moons, full moon, new moon, and so forth affect us a little bit, and that they can make things a little more intense, that they can amplify things. And so eclipses, of course, are way more intense. They're really intense, all right? And an eclipse, where something that we normally see gets out of our visual range, where it gets covered up, all right? Sort of metaphysically, energetically, this means that there's something coming in between, our vision, our clarity, all right? And in energetic terms, we will see a lot of etheric overlay. And if this is the first time for you, and welcome, Chelsea, thanks for giving me that feedback, then go back a few weeks. Every week has some really cool lessons in it. And it doesn't even matter when they were published. But we're going to have a lot of etheric influx here this week, and not all benign, not all angel-like or whatever these entities, forces, or energies, whatever they are pretending to be, they are not. So all energetically sensitives out there, be warned. This is going to be a tough week on you. There's going to be a lot of deception, and you're going to be lured into believing things that you're seeing that are not there or that are not true. And you need to be particularly careful about protecting your own energy field, protecting your own energy, all right? There will be a lot of temptations. And I write a lot about these subjects, so I don't want to bore you with sort of repeating those things. But when it comes to deception, and when it comes to the temptations of the ego, of course they play out in the spiritual as well. Of course, last week we talked about spiritual specialness. And yes, there's probably something like a spiritual ego that needs to be surrendered to. So part of this liberation process that I talked about in the beginning is letting go of ego in all our levels of existence, right? At least here, the ones that we can be aware of. But there are levels of existence, keywords, multidimensionality, that may or may not, more likely are existing here simultaneously, that are existing parallel. And yes, I see those existences in you, in people that I work with, and a lot of people that I train, a lot of people that I came together with to work here at Transcoast, see them too, and they're accurately similar. So I don't think we're just making this up. All right. So there is things like a spiritual ego, the spiritual identity, and this is for those of you who are not really that familiar, may sound like woo-woo, but just bear with me here. Just understand that what I'm trying to get at is this week, this coming week here, especially around the lunar eclipse. I mean, we're already in the effects of it, but will be tempting for you, and you will have anything from false visions to perhaps even kind of dangerous energetic experiences. So my tip for you guys, for those who are very sensitive energetically, who have visionary abilities, who have the ability to maneuver their multidimensional existence, their energy body around, lay low. All right, lay low. Do not experiment. Do not go. Don't be afraid either, but just don't ask for it. Okay, there are forces out there that even as a spiritual warrior or whatever, some of us see ourselves are humbling. And so this week I'd say don't ask for it. I would also recommend everybody who's not active in those realms to stay grounded, to really stay nurtured through the simple things in life, to really connect to your joys, to your everyday things that make you feel good, that make you feel centered. Okay, I would avoid parties this weekend. I would definitely avoid parties, and I definitely avoid anyone or anything or any energy that offers you anything. When I talk about deception and temptation in the same sentence, what I'm talking about is that everything that is not transcended yet, all your ego aspects, are going to be really, really triggered. And so to get this past with you with those extremes, all right, with those who are used to maneuvering in those etheric realms, this also has an effect on those who do not know what I'm talking about here. Okay, so just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. All right. So what you need to understand with energetic sensitivity is that it's always there. Okay, energies are always there. They're like germs. All right. They're just because we haven't fully decoded them yet, and we haven't really been able to put this into a scientific context, at least not the old paradigm of scientific method or science. It doesn't mean that they don't exist and they affect us all. So how can this affect us as, say, normal people here, doing about our jobs, socializing with friends, or at work or at home? All right, so let's go through this here real quick. If you just sort of with your friends and everything, and you going out and you don't know anything about those multidimensional things, don't worry, but be careful because there will be things that you may see now through this opening of your third eye and your crown. So even if you can't feel this physically, I should have probably explained how this feels like. A lot of people have pressure or buzzing in the ear, or pressure on the eyes, behind the eyes, underneath the eyes, twitches around the eyes. Extreme temple pressure. This has been very prevalent these last almost a week. This pressure on the head. From here, like as if you're wearing a helmet, pressure at the base of the skull, all those things are physical sensations when your 6th and your 7th chakra become very active, or when they run into resistance. Okay, and so you're just more open, say, this week, and there will be things that will seem like really tempting, like, wow, you fall in love with someone, or a new business idea, and you'll be all on fire, but you may not really be able to see the truth. So just be careful there, and it's not a good time to really start new things this week, all right, because there's too much deception in the air in general. All right, at work, well, I think those of you who live work a corporate life, I don't need to tell you what deception feels like. There's going to be a lot of this scheming and so forth, and not telling the truth, and of course this will trigger a lot of frustrations, a lot of anger in people, and there still is this this building irrationality, that we've been dealing with for 3-4 weeks now. That is gonna light up this week. So in the face of darkness, the irritability and all sort of say our unresolved or repressed things, they come forward in an amplified version. And this also means, of course, that people's egos come out in an amplified version, which means that a lot of egos clash, which means that there is a lot of confrontation possible. So in your work life, same thing, would keep it low. If you have issues with energies at your workplace, this week in particular, take as many breaks as you can, ground yourself. Maybe if your workplace allows it, listen to music while you're working, or ask if you can have more plants in your office, anything that can help your energy to ground a bit and to clear a bit, all right? Those things will be important. How does this play out for us as parents? If you have younger children, they're most likely not going to be able to sleep really well in this following week, and will be plagued with a lot of nightmares. And I don't have to tell you what that means. If our kids don't sleep well, that means they are cranky and unbearable. Forgive me, my children, for saying that. Throughout the day, and of course it also makes them a little prone to diseases or to contract things. So do movie nights with your kids. Just be there. Don't think you have to go out and do these fancy things this week. It's better to really be grounded and do things for the heart. Bake cakes with cookies with your kids, or do crafts. In fact, anything that has to do with manual work will be really good this week, and music and arts and anything that sort of promotes this hand-eye coordination and promotes you to stay connected on your sort of vertical, which is the the up and down flow of your energy, and also on horizontal, which reflects in the left and right hemispheres, the left and right aspects of us. And the left and right aspects of ourselves are linked to the masculine and the feminine in us. I mean, I suppose most of you have heard about your right and your left hemisphere, and how the right hemisphere is sort of the creative part in you, that is inspired, and that can process, can multitask, can process information that is a bit more chaotic, that is a bit more less structured, and therefore also assigned to the more feminine. And then your left hemisphere is the more rational, the intellectual, the planning, the more mental part of you, but not in a bad way. It is a part that we appreciate and that we can use in our daily lives really well. So at the end of the day, especially from an energy work perspective, it's about going into the balance of both. So the right hemisphere of your brain is linked to the left part of your body, and your left brain is linked to the right side of your body. All right, so try to understand this. There's a crossing here, all right? And this means that for most of us, the right side of our body is associated with our relationship with the masculine in us. And I'm not talking gender specifics here. I'm talking about pure energies, all right? The divine masculine, if you will, on the right side of our body. So typically, things that you feel, I found out after a couple of years that all injuries and all issues that I had with bone or joints or tendons, ligaments, this all happened on the right side of my body. And all really strong violations and abuse happened on the left side of my body. Just saying. But those are things that you can feel out. So this is a good week to really feel into this, this is not the case for everybody. Maybe only sort of 95% of the people, 5% of people have this reversed. It has nothing to do with the hemispheres being reversed, but left-handed people often have this reversed. So there's just a different wiring in you. But one part, and like I said, 95% of us perceive this on the right side is linked to our masculine, our goal-getter, our rational, our directed, sometimes also power-oriented and control side, and our left is associated with providing space, with nurturing, with providing inspiration, and spreading energy, not necessarily directing it, but spreading it. So that's on the left. That's associated with feminine energies, or divine feminine energies, if you will. And so this week is a really good week to feel into this, because quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if most of you actually have energetic sensations on your right side this week. So the masculine is very challenged, and mostly because of this ego effect that I mentioned earlier. So when there's a lot of egos going rampant, there's a lot of confrontation, there's a lot of friction, there's a lot of resistance. So and this, of course, really, this creates an upheaval within us, within that part in us that wants to conquer, that wants to control, that wants to fight. All right, so just turn that down a bit. All right, it's okay to stand in your power. All right, and it's okay to have that feeling, but this is not necessarily beneficial for your energy. What about the neck pain? All right, neck pain has also been extremely prevalent the last week, but it's shifted a little bit. So from the week before, we had this base of the skull, and we're having now more sensation like right here, and English is my third language, so I'm not really good with anatomical terms. I don't know what these are called. It is here, they're linked to muscles as well, which are getting really, really tense right now, which can then, of course, sort of wrap around the back of our head and create these head pressures, these migraines often also, and create a really, really uncomfortable feeling. So it is the tension in the first place, okay? The tension here in our neck that leads to contraction of these energies here, and then often a sort of a cascade of energetic sensations. But thank you for asking, Chelsea. This is probably one of the most common energetic sensations people report, and this is this constant pain in the neck or in the base of the skull area. And I want to just briefly here confirm this. All right, so it often has to do with a person's energy, or let me rephrase this. It often has to do with a person's awakening to their energies, to their energetic sensitivity. And a lot of times also wanting to control it too much, all right? So the tension in our neck is not just, and happens to be the location of a collective etheric implant that we all have, kind of like a program that keeps on feeding us with certain information. that we at some point of our journey have to remove ourselves. But it also triggers ego in us. It also triggers spiritual ego in us, and there's a lot of control aspects linked to that. So yes, it's always nicer to hear this sort of more in a mystical, a magical way. You know, yeah, if you have this pain in the neck, that means you're ascending. While there is some statistical significance to this, I would say, it doesn't mean that. What it means is that you are uncovering and decoding some of the deeper aspects of yourselves, and that you still, or not still, but we all do, that we still have to learn how to balance all that. And it also happens to be, and you know, the physiotherapists and the medical doctors here and acupuncturists and so forth, please help me out. It also happens to be the area of the atlas, and the atlas is that connection piece between the skull and the spine. And for us as energy workers, this is a very important place. This is sort of where a lot of our masculine and feminine energies are regulated. And with that, of course, our relationships. So everything that I said, that I talked about here in regards to those energies coming in, how does that affect our relationships now? All right, well, I can tell you exactly how it will affect some of your relationships. You or your partner or both of you will feel very defensive. You'll feel like you have to retreat into really, really archaic, protective or defensive behaviors. We often call this sort of being triggered by our inner child. So stuff that we have not quite worked through yet, or that we have been repressing, are coming forward this week. And this is why I particularly want to emphasize to stay low. Okay, don't do big things. Don't make big plans. All right, big plans create a lot of expectation in us people. They also create the or promote the fear of making mistakes. All that, and for your relationship, this is going to be a little bit of a strain. Okay, so this week for relationships, even though a deeper connection is possible, what I talked about here at the beginning of this video, and a whole different experience of deep connection within and with others, but also at the same time, you know, the darkness that is stored there and that still needs to be worked through, those you know, those energies that produce these clouds around our hearts and our vision. All right, and in relationships, you'll feel that quite a bit this week. All right, so it is a perfect setting for practicing unconditional love, for practicing surrender, for going into the place of you know, let's be practical about the spiritual journey. All right, you're going to have a lot of opportunity for this week, and so it is not necessarily anything that we need to avoid or fear. It's just something that you need to know. It really triggers the core stuff in you. All right, and when it comes to like inviting this kind of experience, growing experience into your life, it has a lot to do with allowing. So the key word allowing here, if that's all you remember, that will probably be good. Just not in the sense of sucking things up or swallowing things or letting people use it as a doormat, of course. When I'm talking about allowing, I'm addressing those of you here who have a good understanding for you know, for how we all connected and so forth, and how energies work. But can you really receive energies freely? Most of us are pretty good at being sort of putting ourselves out there and giving, and of course it is often also tied to our victimhood and to that resentful provider in us. All right, but can you really receive? Can you really allow? So if anything, you know, with your relationships this week, really try to tune in to allowing the back and forth flow. And if you are more on the side of constantly feeling that you have to do everything and that you have to start or initiate things, or that you have to, well, you know what? Just let that go. Surrender and give space to the other, so that the other actually may feel the freedom to and the inspiration to come up with things that he or she wants to give to you. All right? So don't think just because it's always you that this is the other person's fault. All right? Keyword codependency here. We talked a lot about this before. All right, so it's the defensive mechanisms that we're running into, and it's our ego mechanisms. And if we have difficulties to let those go, then we're going to have a little bit of tension. All right, next week. Physically, tension as well. So the things that I described here now, 6th and 7th chakra at the beginning, a lot of tension, probably continued headaches, but also resistance in your joints, kidney problems, issues with your hydration. Please hydrate really well in these coming days. Also get moving, like move your body, stretch your body, go out in nature as much as you can. It helps to ground, it helps to align to feminine energies, all right? And if you get like really pissed off by your partner or your family or whatever, then take that space. This has to do with allowing. Take that space, to center yourself, to clear yourself, to go outside and be you again, all right? This is the theme here. It's really, really important, being true to yourself. All right. And how does it play out in our, sort of overall life setting, our manifestation, our abundance, and so forth? And this is something I wanted to mention here as the last aspect, how our energetic sensitivity can play out this week. A lot of people are getting into the fear around money right now. And, whether you're aware of it or not, you're most likely picking up, precognitively picking up on a lot of turmoil, on a lot of chaotic energies, as I called them in the energy update, in the ecosystem of finances. All right, so you've heard me say this 100 times for years, and I'm not the only one. Pretty much everybody in this business here kind of projects some kind of collapse of the old system, and yes, it will affect our financial system, but guess what? The new is already there, and we're already working on it. And if you are afraid about some of these financial things collapsing, then I recommend to you, just like how I recommend to you to educate yourself in regards to your energies. Educate yourself a bit about what these new sort of structures, financial structures and financial ecosystems that are currently being developed, that are currently in this super exciting birthing stage, what these can do for us. All right, and of course, this may not play a big role for you if you have not a lot of money, if you struggle with your bills and so forth. Then all this may not affect you that much. And but the fear about money and the fear about our financial well-being can have a really negative effect on a person's energy. So I recommend that if you don't have much money, okay, then have, like say $100, whatever your currency is, have a few there so that you can maneuver in case, like say, the ATMs don't work or the internet goes down. All right, then if you like say want to invest, like maybe $50 or $100 in something like future oriented, and something that could be, say, the new Apple startup, then indeed, as I recommended before, look into cryptocurrencies. And yes, thanks for asking, Margie. How do I see Bitcoin? if I did see Bitcoin split, yes, I knew that. That this was actually announced 6 weeks ahead of time, and it's quite a common practice actually. So it just so happens to be that the cryptocurrency world is inhabited by a lot of really unexperienced people, and so there's some things that will be hyped up that are really not that uncommon. And all this is good. Bitcoin is probably your safest bet if you don't want to educate yourself. The new Bitcoin Cash, which is sort of the split of that, those are good bets, all right. But I'm talking to those of you here who don't really have that much money to invest in. If you want to invest in something, you know, with a very high potentiality, well, first of all, invest in yourself, of course, but look at these startups that are coming, associated with blockchain technology, and I just want to like really throw out some keywords here. You know, where this is going is decentralization of data. Okay, us as people reclaiming our sovereignty to own our own data and to work it accordingly. And there's streams, there's communities within our collective that have always been promoting open source. And open source is something that for anyone in software related industries is also known as public domain. So we do something that kind of like the original idea of science. Unfortunately, that is not the case anymore. Science has been commercialized. But open source is the idea that you develop something and that you fund it through the crowd, you fund it through the support of everybody, and therefore everybody owns it. So you really allow this to be owned by humanity. Of course, when I talk about businesses that are evolving there, I'm not talking about altruistic, all non-profit organizations. Absolutely not. Hi, Lisa. I'm talking about new opportunities, all right, where you can make a fortune with a really little investment. Not right now, not overnight. Over the course of the next 3 to 5 years. So anyone who's not an expert in cryptocurrencies, please stay away from them. If you don't want to educate yourself, because it's Wild West right now, all right. If you are just in there for a quick buck, it's way too volatile, way too dangerous. But if you understand what all this is about, and I'm not even talking about some economical hard facts, I'm talking about the spirit, the level of integrity that comes in through that. Does there a lot of does it attract a lot of like not so integrous people right now? Absolutely, and the banks will soon jump on all of that, and we will have to redefine all this again. But it is the spirit, the idea behind it, and that is to make things available for everyone without a centralized regulatory entity that is owned by whom? That has what agenda? All right, so that's so much for liberation in economical terms. And if you do have a lot of money, and if you do know things, how these structures work, I would definitely move away from fiat, from paper money right now, because that is sort of on the line. And I would recommend to either go into, I'm not a financial advisor, so this is not a legal advice, but I would recommend to move your assets into things that have intrinsic value, or things that are indeed very promising new technologies. Tesla is booming right now for a reason, okay? There may still be a lot of hiccups there, but it's just direction, all right, to really invest in the future, to invest in sustainable energies. And I mean this on the spiritual energy level, as well as the ecological or physical energy, all right? Everything that is self-sustainable, everything that is self-supportive, that is supportive for communities. Those are things, those are businesses, those are investments that will be needed, that we need those. Okay, so urban farming, you name it. I can't really make that many examples because I'm sort of honed into the energetic aspects here, but you get it. It's about what do we need in future. And you already know what we don't want anymore. So we already know what we need to let go. And this is what is going on right now. So we're in the process of letting go, but we also have to allow, the new to come in. All right? Yes. So stay open, but don't fall for, your ego, the quick money, the whatever the promise is right now, especially this week. Most likely, not real. All right, and I would wait with bigger changes. In your life, probably till October anyway, because there's going to be so much shifting and changing now. Just sit there and wait, stay grounded, take care of you, take care of your family, have some nice food, read, and maybe educate yourselves on your own energetic makeup, like how you can really master your own energies a little better. I've announced this last week already. We have a big remote energy workshop come up here at Transcodes this weekend, how to protect your energy. All right, for anyone who is concerned about their energetic or etheric health, and you are not affiliated with that it has to be in a certain way, check this out. All right, this is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's done from your home, so you don't have to go anywhere. It's a remote energy based. That's how we teach here at Transcodes, and you will learn pretty cool stuff in regards to how the dynamics of energetic interaction work. How does energetic absorption work? Why do we feel so drained in the presence of other people? How energetic projection works, what we need to look out for, what these ego traps are, and how and some pretty fancy energy work techniques that can help you to effectively work on letting go of your own attachments, and therefore building your etheric shielding. All right, so this is what's coming up this weekend, and there's here a little bit of info coming up here now that shows you what these energy sessions are that we're doing. And I am surprised nobody's asking questions. So we have a few minutes left here. If you would like to ask questions, go ahead. But you can also do this if you're watching this as a video here on YouTube or on Facebook. You can ask questions in the commentary here. You got to understand, when I do these energy updates, I'm just skimming the surface here. At Transcodes, we work every day in energy sessions with other people, with students. We train energy healers. I mean, there's a couple hundred people constantly working with me throughout a week, and we go really deep there. And one of the places where you can actually get a good feel for how we work and how deep we go is our forum community. It's free. There are some parts of it that are not accessible for you because they are reserved for people who are participating in some of the more intense programs that we have. But if you want to know what's going on firsthand, this is the place where you want to read. All right, because there's people there who know what they're doing, and they're sharing, and they're opening up big time. So group work and community-based work and open source is a big part of Transcodes policy. All right, so in that way, we are trying to manifest this ethos as well. All right, we do have bills to pay, obviously, and we have expenses, so we do need to make advertisement for ourselves, but we're not trying to monetize it in any other way through third parties. We're not even asking for donations. I mean, I love when people donate, even if it's small amounts, because, it shows appreciation. It's a form of giving, but it's not even what I'm asking for. You guys get these energy updates for free. We have a free healing, group healing. Every month we have a free remote energy connecting session every month. All right, this is part of how you can achieve balance between giving and receiving. Okay, so there's a lot of free stuff here, giving back. But then there's also, of course, services that you have to pay for. And we've been in this business here for quite a bit, so we know what we're doing. So it's not like, we're serious about what we're doing here. So I appreciate your attention, and I really love the audience, and I love your comments. And somebody's asking, mentioned doing a webinar on cryptocurrencies. I know. But, you can see the problem, there's a constant up and down. I'm not a financial advisor. I know people who are really good at this. Maybe I should get an expert and do a webinar with them. But the problem is that, of course, people want to get the magical solution. They want to know from me which cryptocurrencies to invest in. I cannot give this advice. I can only tell you what I am invested in. I'm invested in Ethereum, Pillar, and Bitcoin, just Bitcoin Litecoin, to be on the safe side. All right, this is what I'm invested in. But what you choose has a lot to do with you feeling out the integrity level of companies, feeling out what they really do and what they really offer. And if they don't really offer anything, and it's just a token that promotes speculation, then it's probably just like 95 of all the IPOs in the stock market. They'll just disappear. So you look at companies that have intrinsic value, just like I mentioned earlier in regards to assets, and that represent something that improves, something that promotes a betterment of our collective circumstances and ecosystems. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for your attention, for your time, for being here with me. And please read the written report. It may take a couple of days, as you know. Yes, people should invest in themselves by researching all they can about it. Absolutely. Thank you, Margie. Totally agree with this. The same also to your own energies, all right? So if there's something new, and there will be a lot of new things, then don't go into fear. Embrace it. Open up, and educate yourself. All right. Yes. Thank you too, everyone. I gotta go now, and you have a wonderful weekend. Stay low and don't get caught up in ego. All right. Bye-bye.